Welcome back, all you toadrific beasts and amazing creatures. It's me, Toad McCroaks, and this is the McCroaks Late-Night Show. We also have Agent Carl with us. Yep, Carl, he does his tortoise thing. Unfortunately, tonight we're missing the amazing J.GrayDigital. He had to step out, go touch some grass, handle some business. So we wish him well, and we look forward to have him on the next show. Maybe we'll have a surprise. We'll see. But we have some amazing guests tonight. I am super stoked to get this show started. But let me go ahead and introduce our guests. So we're first going to bring up JToons, who has the Hoodlums Project. And he's an iconic artist. He was a tattoo artist. We'll talk to him. You'll learn about it. It's awesome. It's fantastic. It's toad-tastic. We also have the legend himself, the Big Bob Harper. Now, if you don't know who Big Bob Harper is, that's just because you don't know his name, but you know him. You know stuff he's worked with. He is a legend. But we'll let you hear what they have to say. So let's go ahead and get this show started. No time for delay. JToons, welcome to the stage. I'm so happy that you're here. I can't wait to get to know you, get to speak with you, and have our viewers listen to what you have in store for us tonight. So, JToons, first, before we get into everything, would you mind telling us a little bit about the Hoodlums Project?
Yeah. So we have the Hoodlums Project. It's Hoodlum Society. This project was started back in October of last year. Basically, they are humanoid characters. When I came in, there were a lot of animal profile pictures type projects that were out. And I decided to come in with this human style project. They're a little bit more like your urban street style characters. They have a lot of different things with them as far as their appearance goes that are very notable. Some of the bigger notable things about them are their big white eyes, and most, if not almost all of them, have no mouth. The no mouth thing is actually something metaphoric that I put in there. Obviously, some of the characters do have mouths, but the majority of them don't, and that is because, personally, the project's name Hoodlums comes from my past. Initially, I was called a lot of names growing up. I was in pretty bad situations. I was homeless at a very young age. I was introduced to a lot of violent home situations when it comes to drugs and alcohol. Ran with a bunch of bad people, seen a lot of bad things, and growing up, the word hoodlum that was used to describe me, along with some other very derogatory and racially derogatory terms. But I thought, when I created this, I wanted to give them a name, something that would normally kind of be something in a negative manner, but turn it into something that we could turn into like a positive manner. So we took that Hoodlums name and we used it for the project and called these guys Hoodlums. The no mouth was because regardless of what I was saying as a kid to the police officers, or if I was talking to any kind of authority figure, it didn't matter what I said. So I might as well have literally had no mouth, because I could say, no, I'm not a gang member. I don't bang. I don't do drugs. I don't sell drugs. I may look like this and I might have this chip on my shoulder, but that's only because of the stuff I experienced as a kid, and it had nothing to do with me, being gang affiliated or doing anything. But it didn't matter. I'm Hispanic. So I'm Hispanic. I'm a slightly bigger guy. I've got tattoos all over the place. I used to do tattoos a lot. And I used to, make ends meet. I would do artwork on cars, mostly the front panels, the sides of the doors, stuff like that, to try to make some, extra money during car meets. So, that's kind of the fundamental basis as to where the Hoodlums came from, and how they are now. One of the major goals that we try to aim for is to help other children that go through the kinds of same things that I went through and that many other people have suffered with during childhood, and then grew up as an adult and really didn't have that time to process it, or had something or someone intervened back in those days. Maybe the present path that they're on might have been changed somewhat different or drastically from where they are now. So when I started to look around for different foundations to kind of get involved with, we came across 4Kids. It's it's a little nonprofit type organization that helps kids that get entered into the system, where CPA comes in and removes children from hostile and living environments or low poverty families that just, they're trying to make ends meet so their kids don't get taken away. They step in, help them. And one of the bigger things is trying to keep kids that enter into the system together. So that really resonated with me heavily at the beginning of this project last year. And I decided to outreach there. I built relationships with the assistant to the director there. His name's Kevin. He's actually a part of our society as well and in our Discord. And we do a lot of different donations there. One of the big goals that we'd like to see towards the end of or the success of our project would be the development of something called the Foundation, which is something that we want to develop as a nonprofit organization to help kids and also be able to help fuller kids with more donations, but not just limit ourselves to the children, because obviously there's a lot more things that we can, help with. So we're looking into battered women and children places, veterans that, can't afford things. And above all, creating this foundation would be helpful for when it comes to our community members, because myself, living below the means and not deciding on whether or not we have the oil for the winter, stuff like that. If we have the community members that are going through that, we would have that little set funds to the side, that little foundation that we can help our community members with when those times get tough as well. So there's a lot of different things we have kind of planned for that aspect of it. The majority of what we're doing is we're trying to get into, like streetwear clothing. I actually found a hidden niche that I had for designing clothes, urban style clothing. One of my bigger idols that I grew up with was Mr. Cartoon, who's a tattoo artist out of LA. He does a lot of Chicano art, and he's an amazing representative for our people and the success that he's gotten into. And another person that I idolized a lot was Tom Hardy, when it came to not his actions or him as a person, but like his clothing line, his designs, and the way that he implemented, that strategic element there of putting those tattoo designs on the clothing, and obviously not trying to charge $200 per shirt like he did or does. But we're trying to do something similar to that. So I take some of my tattoo arts, I design these clothing with different patterns and different designs. And we've been kind of creating this element of clothing in the background while we're doing this one-of-one project. Phase 2 will be happening soon, where we're going to actually roll into a generative side of the hoodlums. It will be something a little bit separated from the hoodlums to keep that barrier between what the generative and what our initial one-of-one is. One-of-one is nowhere near done. We really don't have an end in sight. I love creating these, and I never run out of ideas. They bring me so much happiness to create them. So, I can go on forever. This month alone, we're creating 28 new ones. I'm creating one new one every single day during this Hollow Hoodlums event that we have going on, which actually is sold out now. There was 28 tickets, and every day I create a new character. We roll the wheel on it, and then we update the metadata for the one that it was held on. Those 28 are now sold out. So, we really do love and cherish that one-of-one collection and the personality that has kind of grown with each individual character in there. I don't like to use the profile picture name. I like to use, this is a character building or a character development project, because as a cartoonist or just, an artist in general, I'm not drawing something that is just something that can be a profile picture. I'm drawing something that actually has, a soul in it, in a sense, like the way that he looks, his expressions, the clothing, the style, the way he stanced at, the tattoos, what the tattoos represent, what kind of story can be developed by that character just based on the visual appearance or the aesthetics of that character. So there's a lot of thought process on my end that goes into each and every individual one of my characters. And the same process is going to be put into the implementation of the generative project as well. So there will be that same care to detail. And we have big plans for that. More is going to be announced on that later on. We're going to have more information, including images dropping after October once this event is over, since our main focus is there at the moment. But yeah, that's pretty much the hoodlums in a nutshell. I'm probably forgetting some things, but at the moment, that's what's coming to my mind right now.
Jay, I absolutely love it. I love the idea of being able to give back to the youth and starting something that's bigger than the NFT collection itself. It's tremendous. I commend you for it, and I honestly wish other people would jump on board, which I know a lot of people do charity things and stuff like that. But the approach that you're taking to take that a step further, it's terrific. I absolutely love it. Me and Carl actually met as hoodlums when we were running in the swamp so many years ago. So I completely relate, and I love it. So all the art you've done in the past, how did that translate into getting you into NFTs?
I worked at Pep Boys for a very long time as a customer service manager and a retail sales specialist. I was in school for computer engineering and information technology. I graduated and got my associate's degree with it and started to work at a job. Finally getting entry level in. COVID hit. My wife had become disabled or sick at that moment with the disease that she had, so she actually ended up going into the hospital. I ended up having to become a stay-at-home parent while she was in there for 3 months, and during that time period, obviously those stimulus checks were coming out and that was helping and everything, but we still weren't really making the ends meet there because now I can't hold a regular job, nor can I work from home because apparently there's this, if you're caring for somebody for 80% of the time, you can't work from home. And since I was doing that for my daughter, they wouldn't allow me to work from there. So I basically got let go. And then in the meantime, my brother had come up to me and started talking to me about, this artwork stuff and how I could bring my artwork into this NFT stuff. And I had no clue what the hell he was talking about because we just got into crypto. We were just looking at that kind of stuff. I remember the word NFT being swung around here and there in crypto, but I really didn't know too much. So we started looking around. I started watching some YouTube videos. There was actually a very informative documentary I found. I watched that, took notes on the whole process. And then we went to Rarible, was the first marketplace I'd ever been to. And I had seen a project in there called Celestials NFTs. It's run by a guy named Dave. He's got a project. He's been around for a while too. And he actually started teaching me, like what it was. He said something about minting, and I'm thinking, oh shit, now I got to have like all these rigs for like minting. And how does it mint an NFT? Like it was so confusing. So, so I was like, all right, well, let me just keep trying this out. And then eventually, after 1,000,001 questions to Dave, I finally started to figure out how this worked. And, that's when I started to try to like get my foot in the door here. I tried coming in with different elements of my artwork. I remember coming in with very many different characters and stuff, but nothing was ever selling of mine. And, it was very frustrating and overwhelming at first. A couple of times I wanted to give up, but, it was really the do or die situation. It wasn't really an option to give up. So I just kept trying and trying and trying. Tried a few different Genesis collections. Those started getting popular. And then after a while, the Hoodlums came in, and the Hoodlums kind of like just took off, kind of put everything in perspective. People started taking a look at my more fine artwork as well, because I do a lot of different variations of artwork, from fine artwork to cartoon artwork to tattoo style artwork. So I have a lot of different skill variety when it comes to that. And then it's kind of been doing that since then to stay at home. My wife, she got more sick, so I ended up having to be her caretaker. And the state of Pennsylvania doesn't pay their husbands to take care of their spouses when they become disabled. So obviously I really couldn't get a job now because I had to physically take care of my wife, my daughter, the household, and everything else that came along with those responsibilities, and tried to do small side jobs at nighttime or when I had the free time. But the NFT space, I just kept grinding at it. I sleep an hour here, an hour there, and just kept trying to put myself out there more as an artist. And kind of been doing that ever since. Unfortunately, my wife, she passed away in July. So since then, I've been kind of, a little bit more headstrong into this space and into doing what I'm doing with this project because, as in her memory, she did help me come up with some of these designs. She's the one who inspired me for the ideas of the Hoodlums and the way that they looked. And, there's a lot of great memories between me and her developing these characters and what we would like to see happen with this project in the future. So, yeah, I've been here ever since then. That was back in June of last year is when I started. Hoodlum started October of last year. Here we are now, a year and a half for myself, or just roughly, and we just hit about a year for the Hoodlums last week. So we're still rolling, and I'm not giving up anytime soon. So I'm kind of permanent resident here in Web3.
Much told love to you, Jay. I can only imagine the trials and challenges you have faced, and I see you as a huge inspiration in this space. You've come you have overcome so many personal adversities that, you know, some people in the space will leave after they stub their toe, and you are here being a huge inspiration, and I just want to say thank you for that. But so with the hoodlums, you now have a team helping you with this, right? It's not just yourself. You've brought in some other players to help out and help grow the community.
So yeah,
correct?
we have a team now. So for the longest time, it was just me by myself. We had another friend of mine. His name was Felly. He came in. He helped me kind of construct things around. He was there for a while helping out, so he definitely deserves his recognition. But then, you know, obviously, real life, he has kids and he has responsibilities, which I can understand. So then I was left alone again. And then I did an outreach to a gentleman named Tropic Vibes. He does like podcasts and stuff. He's a real nice guy. He's out of Jamaica. And he came on and, you know, he was helping me with a lot of different aspects of the project. Then I came across the gentleman below, Experimental. We met actually during that whole issue with my wife. You know, he kind of came in and he knew that we needed help and stuff. So he helped the way he did. And, you know, he talked to me and just the genuine kindness that he portrayed to me really spoke to me as to him as a person. And, you know, I listened to him speak in different places, and the way he spoke was very articulate, and, you know, he was very educated and just an overall nice guy. And those kind of qualities fit the idea of what the hoodlums were. So I outreached to him, and, you know, he agreed to come on and be our relations manager. He does a lot more than that. We're going to probably have to give him a nicer, cooler title with, like, you know, a gold plaque or something to put on his desk, because the dude, he's really freaking good. And he's very passionate about the project as well, and trying to, like, you know, get us to that point of success. And then lastly, we have Jeff Sars. He's the like dev guy, but he also like helps in other aspects as well. But he's part of Bad Fruit, which is another project by a buddy of mine named Jack. Skull Kids is what they usually went by before changing their rebranding to Bad Fruit. But you know, he does excellent work over there with them. He came over. He was very interested in the idea of the street clothing and all these dreams and aspirations that I had for this project and where I want to see it go in the future. And so he got on board, and again, his personality, his kindness and willingness to help really coincided with me and Experimental, and especially with Tropic. So, you know, we have all of us now sitting here, same mindset, same goals and determination, same work ethic. Surprisingly, all of us have the same ethic where, like, we'll just keep going and going and going. So so you have 4 Energizer bunnies now working together, trying to push the project to a height of success, and something that will, I always use the same like catchphrase, is that we're Web3 based, but we're building in real life. And that's what we're trying to do is, you know, we're going to be based here in the Web3 area and eventually get this brand into something that is in real life, something that is something tangible as well, and then move it back over and kind of parallel ourselves into the metaverse. So we have a lot of plans in the works here, and we're not really going anywhere. So we started from one of ones, worked our asses off, and we plan on continuing to do so until we can get to that height of success with this.
I can't say enough how much I love everything that you're doing. I love the Hoodlums project. I love your artwork. I love your ideas of what you want to do in the future. I'm really excited about the future for the Hoodlums project and the future for yourself. So where can our viewers find out this information about the Hoodlums, or find out information about everything that you have going on?
Yeah, so we have our Discord. We're not like a normal Discord where like it's popping off 24/7. We just chat in there or whatever, but it's almost like I treat it more of like an informational hub. We have everything. I detail everything in there. So like our websites, our links to our collections, plus our Twitter accounts in the bios. They have their links to the Twitter accounts there. I try to keep everything very detailed so everybody knows exactly what's going on, when it's going on. I'll even use picture diagrams so that way we can make the information that's going to get conveyed over easier. You know, there's a lot going on in there. So you can join our Discord. Also, that link is in that bio. We can reach out to one of us. We can give it to you. And then we also have the link tree that's in that bio that gets you to all the rest of our collections.
Oh, that's wonderful, Jay. And before I ask Carl if he's got any questions, do you have a character that that you like the most?
Yeah, I mean, we have well, all my I always tell everybody my characters are like my children. Like I take pride in all of them, and each one of them are special to me. I mean, we have our newly redesigned mascot, which is the one that you see right here. We do try to brand ourselves as a business in a sense, like, you know, this is what you're getting into. So we took the time and the thought process to come up with a newly redesigned logo. So we actually have an actual logo, and it keeps that brand recognition identity still involved with that logo. And that is mostly the white eyes, the kind of blacked out look. So that way it really doesn't have a person in there. It's more like, you know, you can see yourself in the reflection of whatever that is. Um, it kind of keeps that still that kind of attitude and kind of sinistery look to it, but because, you know, we're hoodlums. But my mascot here, yeah, he's been redesigned, and there's actually a hint to that because our hoodlums look a certain way, but for the generative project, we kind of wanted to put like one of those Easter eggs out there where, like, you know, you can't see it too well, but that is actually going to start to be a form of what the body and the outline base of these new characters coming out is. You know, we're going to probably end up naming that Misfits, which is what's on that beanie there, just because we're trying to keep that and Hoodlums a little bit separated, but at the same time, it's all under the same umbrella, the same branding. Um, but yeah, I mean, those characters, and then we have another character in there that Kevin really loves, which actually has a lot of words on the face. If you see it, they're description words that go like, you know, poor, worthless, troublemaker, like just the kind of labels that really get placed on kids in those situations, words that have been used to describe me in multiple situations throughout my years of life here. And I'm only 33 years old, so, you know, 33 years worth of, you know, names being thrown at me. I put it all onto that character, and I know I made a post one time, and it probably got the most likes and retweets I'd ever seen. But I said, and you wonder why, like, I created Hoodlums to help these children so they don't end up going down the same path because they feel like this. And then I put that up there, and everybody seemed to really like it. But I gave that as a gift to Kevin from Four Kids because, you know, he spends his whole career in life helping these children. So I figured that was the least I could do. We all another thing too. I value military personnel very, very much. So if any of our members that are a part of our hoodlum society that own hoodlums and are, you know, a genuine part of the community, I do offer a service where I can take your combat medals, anything that you might have received in the service, and I can draw a hoodlum with that attire on that serves for that branch of the military, and then I draw on each one of your medals, and I place everything correctly. Like I make sure I go online and find out exactly how it's supposed to be placed on the characters accordingly, so there's no disrespect to that branch. But we do offer that as a free service as well, along with banners, wallpapers. I'm pretty much willing to go completely out of my way for any individual member of my community or our community that comes into the hoodlums.
Jay, I'm a huge fan, man. I love your heart. I love the passion. And I love everything that you're doing. I honestly cannot wait to see what the future holds and what you bring to the table.
Thank you. I really appreciate it, man. That means the world to me to hear. Thank you very much, and thank you for allowing us to come in here and speak. I know that this takes up your time, and I know that's valuable for everybody. So we are very grateful and very appreciative for that.
No, really, thank you. It's been a huge honor having you. But I'm going to go ahead and see if Carl has a question. Carl, do you have a question for JToons?
Yeah. No, I always have something to say. um, First off, Jay, it's awesome to talk to you. you know, like Toad said, we grew up around the same pond. Um, I like how you're taking the hoodlum image and turning it into something positive. I love the community-driven kind of outreach aspect there too, and I really like the street art aesthetic. And it's really cool that you'll incorporate veterans awards into their NFTs. Um, that's that's really neat, and it's cool how y'all ran that event the way you did. I was wondering, do you have any like plans on doing another thing like that soon?
Yeah, I wanted to test the water with it this time. Last year when we came in right around October. So the event is actually called the Hollow Hoodlums. And last year I came in with a lot of Tim Burton style characters. You can really see the
Mm.
difference there between my art progression. But we do plan on doing another one for, I think it was going to be for Christmas. I was going to run like a Christmas event where we do the same thing. You know, like there's going to be 25 NFTs for the 25 days of Christmas. And you pick one of them up, and then every single day I create something cool, like a new piece of artwork based around the hoodlums or as the hoodlums. And then we're going to do the weekly giveaways where every one of those get entered in for that. And then we're going to have some cool physical gifts to give away. I don't want to let anything too big out of the bag, but if I'm giving away physical items that are signed memorabilia with certificates of authenticity for Halloween, you can only imagine the kind of crazy shit that I'll come up with as gifts to give away at the end of that, because it's supposed to be fun. You know what I mean? Like, NFTs are just not fun that much anymore because all these bad people are taking the fun out of it. Like, nobody's like having fun with this anymore. So like, I wanted to get like something exciting, like you don't know what you're going to get, but it's not because you minted it. It's just because you took that little gamble. So it's kind of fun to see if you're going to get this and what prizes are there. But yeah, I appreciate you taking notice of that, though. It seems to be successful, this style that I went with this year.
Yeah. No, I think it's awesome, man. Keep it up.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Jay, it's been such a pleasure talking with you, getting to know the project, getting to know you. And thank you again so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. You've been a fantastic guest.
Appreciate and value your time and bringing us up here and letting us speak about the project.
Now is the time that we ask you to slide down the couch, and we're going to bring out the Big Bob Harper. Fantastic Beasts and Amazing Creatures. It's Big Bob Harper. Bob, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, how the hell am I supposed to follow that? That was amazing.
Yeah, it totally was.
Wow, that's an amazing story, and yeah, very inspiring.
Yeah, it totally was, and JToons is just fantastic. So, I was doing a little bit of research on you, Big Bob, and I went to your website, and pretty much you've done everything under the sun as far as working with studios and cartoons and production companies. But I also noticed that it said that you've done pro wrestling. So, what haven't you done?
Well, I haven't gone to jail yet, so so knock on wood, that doesn't happen. But I don't know. I've probably been creating longer than you guys have been alive. Yeah, I'm an old school Gen Xer, so yeah, professional wrestling. Like when I was young back in Texas, I tried everything to break the norm, from professional wrestling to stand-up comedy to stage magic, and finally cartooning kind of stuck, and just been doing that ever since.
I absolutely love it, Bob. So you've got your toes in just about everything right now, but what's something that your focus is kind of on? What's something that you're building? Would you like to tell us about that?
So yeah, a couple of years ago, I started a company with Dave Coulier, one of the stars from Full House, the guy who plays Joey. And we started a family entertainment company called Grilled Cheese Media. And, we've been trying to create content, for the family. His sensibilities and my sensibilities for kids are about the same, old school, like Hanna-Barbera, early Nickelodeon, that kind of stuff. So we've been busy creating a lot of material that we've been trying to sell to the industry. We sold a preschool show a year ago, and it's in development with a company in France called Cyber Group. And now we sort of hit a lull. The industry kind of slows down during this time of year. And plus, when we were talking prior to the show about, the Cartoon Network shakeup, and, there's been a shakeup at Netflix and a lot of other places in the animation industry. So we're trying to find our place in it. But, it's constant creating. I'm working with a book agent that I can hopefully announce soon that I'll be signing with to do some like graphic novels and chapter books for all ages. And at some point, once we figure out what's going where, is when I'll commit to an NFT project. So right now, nothing is where I can fully announce it, but I am working on a lot of stuff behind the scenes, and hopefully early next year we'll be launching a lot of different things.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So has there been a big influence on your style and what you have done with your career?
Yeah, for sure. As far as creating goes, Jim Henson the Muppets. As a little kid, Sesame Street was sort of the gateway, into sketch comedy. And, so after Sesame Street, it goes the Muppets, and after the Muppets, it goes Monty Python. So my sense of humor, my creativity kind of stems from that journey of Sesame Street to Muppets and Monty Python. But as far as cartooning goes, Sergio Aragonis, I don't know if you guys have heard of him, but he's a Mad Magazine artist. He's been around since like the early 60s, and he basically would take time out of each convention. I would see him at either the San Diego Comic-Con or the Dallas Fantasy Fair, and he basically taught me how to cartoon. And his stuff is amazing. He's probably the fastest cartoonist in the world. So he's my primary art influence as far as what I do. But once I started working in the industry, I adapted other styles, mainly to get work, because you kind of have to if you want to work. And so I sort of like experimented with flat styles, other kind of graphic styles and all that. But my core style and the style that's my my avatar or my profile pic is sort of my style, which combines sort of a Rocky and Bullwinkle influence with Sergio Aragonis, and that's kind of where I'm settled on, and that's where I want to go with it.
Well, I absolutely love your style. I love everything that you've been a part of that I've seen. You was a part of Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends on Cartoon Network, and to be honest with you, I can still grab a bowl of cereal and watch that show, sit down with my kids, and I'm like, hey, look at this show.
Yeah, they're even rebooting it as a preschool show now with Craig.
Oh wow, I had no idea. Now that's some alpha, Big Bob.
There you go. Craig is going to reboot that as a preschool show, and then I think he's also going to be part of another Powerpuff Girls reboot.
Now that really does make my inner child happy. I'm not going to lie to you. So, Big Bob, you've been in the industry for a long time now. What are some of the challenges that you have had to face going through it?
Just finding out, where my niche is, and how to make money out of it. I've been cartooning for quite a while. I've done. It's funny, as if you want to relate this to the NFT world, back in the 90s, with the independent publishing movement, it's very similar. A lot of DIY artists were doing their own comics. I did a couple of mini comics that did very well in the local market in Dallas. And, it's just that constant looking for a way to make money, make a living at what you want to do. And, I got really lucky when I moved to California about, I would say 20 something years ago. I can't remember how long exactly, but I got into the original .com world, which is, I don't know if you guys ever heard of like Icebox .com, but this was the original web, 1.0 or 2.0. I don't know what you guys call it now. But when everyone was trying to figure out how to make money off the internet, and they all failed miserably, and then they regrouped and refocused, and then YouTube came along and changed everything. So, as a creator and a cartoonist, is finding where those opportunities are and how you can capitalize on it, and, hopefully stay true to your vision and what you want to do. So I would say those are the challenges.
Now, Big Bob, you're truly a legend within this space. I mean, you've been in the industry for way longer than most of the artists that are in the space have been artists. So, what intrigued you to get into the NFT space? Was it the arts, creativity? What was it?
Yeah, in a way, it was funny because it's so where I don't know if it's my generation. Most guys my age, we were very skeptical of the NFT space in the beginning. So I've been, doing the deep dive research for the past year, almost to this day. Like back in October of last year is when these guys started talking to me about it, and they were sort of like marketers or something, and they're trying to sell me on doing like an NFT thing. And so I started researching. Of course, Bored Apes was the hot thing that brought the general public into it. So I was trying to grasp what it was, and then they wanted me to create a project. And at first I thought it was just like, okay, I've got a bunch of old characters that you guys can have, and they're like, well, we need like 10,000, and I didn't know about the the AI generative software, and I'm like, I'm not going to do 10,000 characters for you guys on speculation. So but after a while I learned the process and I became intrigued by it. And what I liked about the space was a lot of the DIY guys, you guys are doing your own projects and the one-on-ones and stuff, and sifting through the negative parts of the space where the rug pulls and all that. And it's been very exciting to watch, and it's like I said, over the year I've been just taking in a lot of information and deciding where I feel that I fit in with NFTs, or how NFTs fit in with me. And I'm hoping that all the negative stuff goes away and it gets to be in some sort of stable way of artists making money and all that, because that's what I advocate. No matter if you're going into the NFT space or self-publishing or animation, is to do your thing and not sell it off if you can to the big guys.
True words of wisdom from somebody who has been living the industry. Thank you so much, Big Bob. So where can our viewers find information about Big Bob or about Grilled Cheese Media? Where do they need to look?
Yeah, grilledcheesemedia.com to see what we're doing over there. And you could go to bigbobharper.com, and you can find my social links there. So I'm on Twitter and on Instagram, and that's where I'll be updating the most. And then once we've committed to the project that we want to build ourselves, that that we're not going to involve other studios, and I'll make an announcement on on all my social medias, and I'm thinking that's probably going to happen at the beginning of the year. We're doing a lot of art, a lot of preparation now. The one thing I didn't want to do in the NFT space is just create NFTs to fund a project. I want to get a project and a property established. So if I do NFTs, the collectors know that it's based on an established property. It's not some speculative, oh, we might make something. It's like, no, we've made it, and this is sort of the collectible reward for it.
Bob, I love that aspect. I love the idea of setting a foundation and then building off of it instead of building into the foundation. So I commend you for that. So I have a question. I was a huge Full House fan when I was a kid. Is Dave Coulier as funny and as nice as he is when you see him on TV?
Yeah, you know what? He's even funnier in real life, because he doesn't. He's prided himself as being a family-friendly comedian, so he doesn't work blue. So when we talk, it's very funny and very loose, and he's a super, super great guy to work with. He's super nice. We've worked on prior to starting this company, we worked on a couple of projects together, and every time we just get on the phone or Zoom or get in person, we just crack up, and it's been a real fortunate thing to become his friend and his partner. So yeah, he's an amazing, fun, cool guy.
That's fantastic. I was kind of expecting that, but I had to ask. And speaking of asking, Carl, do you have anything to ask Big Bob Harper?
I sure do. It's an honor to talk with you. I like where you're coming from. It's funny. You were like, I'm not doing 10,000 one-on-ones. No, I totally get that. Like, that's awesome. But you're a writer, an animator, a producer, and tell me if I'm wrong. But are you a publisher as well?
Well, I've done self-publishing. So technically yes, but not like a publishing company. But I've done books and comics through different routes of self-publishing.
Awesome. And so, like, where do you see your focus and your like energies on going forward, or is there kind of a focus there?
Yeah, I mean, I've committed. I've done projects for both. I've worked on projects for adults. I've worked on projects for kids. I find that my strength is the family friendly project. The SpongeBob type of shows and all that. So moving forward, all the content I create is going to be for that audience. So if you still like watching SpongeBob or Gravity Falls or any of those kind of shows, that's the kind of stuff I'm going to create. And I want to, I've done enough work for enough studios in a bunch of different styles. I'm committing to my style that I have currently. That's where I want to go with it. And it's that's the primary focus. So when the NFTs do launch, it will be in that style, and it'll be related specifically to a family friendly project that hopefully people of all ages will enjoy.
Awesome. Well, thank you for talking with me, and I'm super excited to see anything you got coming out in the future, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I just think that everything that he just described is freaking awesome. Like, that's being able to do all the things that he did. I mean, that's just that's like life goals, like, I don't know. I mean, I'm only 33 years old, but like, I haven't yet to even compound a list like that. Being able to work with Dave, Dave is awesome too. I remember I'm a 90s kid, so growing up, like, Full House was like massive, and like that dude was, we don't even know these people's real names. Like, most of the people my age just call them Uncle Joey and Uncle Jesse. Like, we don't really know that. It took me a minute when you said his name. I'm like, I know that sounds familiar because I've seen it flash across the screen. But like, being able to work Cartoon Network, stuff like that. Like, I'm a grown man sitting on the couch with my 7-year-old daughter laughing at like Teen Titans, or like I put Teen Titans Go, not even just a regular one, and like, showing her the Powerpuff Girls and stuff like that, knowing that you worked with, not only worked with, but had a hand in half of my childhood. That's just amazing. It's like talking to somebody who helped shape me.
Well, I'm old. See. Well, I wanted to talk to you about taking care of your kid. I'm a father of I have 3 kids, and for the past 2 years, I've been a stay-at-home 24-hour single father with my son who has autism, who's 17. And so I know the tribulations that you went through, and my condolences about your wife. And I know what it's like to be a single dad. And I commend you for sticking to your guns and seeing your vision and making things happen. That's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, that means a lot. Means a lot to hear. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. It's hard when you have these situations like that, and then you find somebody else that understands that situation, that you've lived it. It is difficult to do, but at the end of the day, and the same probably goes for you too. It's the kids. Like, you want to make sure that somebody said that if you could set up your kids and then that you could like die tomorrow and it would be fine, then you did your job as a parent. So like, for me, you heard that before, right? Like,
yeah.
That's kind of like what I live by now. So it's like, is my daughter and because I have my daughter and my son, and he's 13 years old, but he's a little bit more independent than she is. But
right.
leaving them something would be good. So that's always been like my idea. So I appreciate you understanding it, and I appreciate your circumstances and your situation as well. I commend you for the same thing.
Well, thanks. Yeah, that's my goal. I got to leave something behind, because I don't want the world saying, "Hey, he's a really shitty dad."
It's like our number one fear, right?
It is. Like, you can say anything else about me, but my dad credentials are strong. So
Yeah, we show up to school a little late. Sure,
hey.
We show up after the bell rings, but whatever. We sign the pad late and walk away.
Exactly. Hey, they're clean. They're all right.
If they're alive, that's all that matters.
Exactly. So yeah, good stuff, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Wow, what an amazing show with some amazing guests. This has been a toad-rific time. I've really enjoyed it. Big shout out to the Big Bob Harper and JToons. You can find both of them on Twitter. You can find Bob Harper at the Big Bob Harper, And you can find JToons Hoodlums Project at Hoodlums Society. There you can find both of their links, their websites, and be sure to check out Grilled Cheese Media. I've had a wonderful time tonight. I hope Carl's had a good time. I hope our guests had a good time. And I hope you viewers had a good time. So there is some announcements coming up. In November, we'll be taking a break from the show. We won't be recording any shows. We'll be playing some of our previous shows, getting our guests back into the lineup. I don't want to take a break from the show, but the ABS is making another threat, and I'm going to have to go handle it. And you'll see that in the next part of The Untold Croaks. And speaking of which, The Untold Croaks is out right now. The Untold Croaks Season 2 Part 2 has just come out. We have Chapter 6 and 7 out. And Chapter 8 will be out Wednesday. Now, if you want to watch these chapters, if you want to watch Part 1, you need to go to rad.live or check out Rad TV at RadNFTV. That's the exclusive place where you can find The Untold Croaks Part 2. Much toad love, everybody, and again, thank you for our amazing guest. Be sure to check out next Saturday's show. We have some more amazing guests coming. I can't wait to get them on the stage. You won't believe it. Much toad love, everybody. Stay focused and stay positive.